Welcome, everybody, to the Bears Den, collaboration with War Media and Sports Zone Chicago. Guys, I'm your boy, the Superback, Sean Sierra, and we have a lot to talk about. Big game for the Bears. We're all big at this particular point, especially with the way things have unfolded with Justin Fields getting hurt, Tyson Bagent, undrafted free agent quarterback out of Division II, getting his first start. There's a lot of talk that has to go on, and we're gonna deal with the draft, first round draft picks. Are you still in on Justin Fields? Are you out on Justin Fields? Are you in on Caleb Williams? Are you out on Caleb Williams? A whole bunch to talk. Let's bring the crew in. We're gonna bring in my guy, Joe Tanksley. Joe, what's up, baby? How you doing?
Doing pretty good, man. I can't say I'm excited, man. It's this season has been, I can't really wrap my head around it. I expected so much better, and I'm sure we'll get jump into it and get ready to take a deep dive because there's a lot of things that's going to change starting this week.
Yeah, and a third member of the crew today. She's on Sports Zone Chicago. She's the co-host of Second City Sports. You see her every Monday and Friday at 12:15, along with her co-host on the show, Sydney Brown. Guys, let's bring her in. Lakina McGee. Lakina, good morning or good evening. How you doing?
What's up? Well, it's morning, I guess in the overseas. But yeah, how are you gentlemen doing?
Wonderful.
Doing pretty good.
It is cold. Although it wasn't too bad today, so actually, so I guess for mid-October it's not too bad.
You know what? You're right. It wasn't bad. It was actually pretty warm. It was a mid to high 60s today. It wasn't too bad. I was actually overdressed today. I felt started to get a little clammy, a little warm. I had to unzip my vest and unzip my pullover underneath my vest. Yeah, it was. Yeah. Well, let's get to it. This week, week 7 of the NFL season. Bears host the Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders, and a lot has transpired. Over the weekend from last game. Justin Fields is out. He's not on IR, so that's the first thing. We'll talk about that later. But that means Tyson Bagent, undrafted rookie free agent out of Shepherd, Division II Shepherd, is going to be the starter. There's a lot of people have been clamoring for this young man to play. All right, they're saying get him the ball, get him some time. He's going to do this, he's going to do that. Joe, give me your thoughts on Tyson Bagent starting his first NFL game, week 7.
Well, you know what? I'm excited for the young man to get his opportunity, and that's pretty much what it is. I don't really expect too much from Tyson Bagent coming from Division II Shepherd. I do, think he had a phenomenal preseason and he earned this opportunity. But it's a different game now than in the preseason when you're going against the other team starters, and there's a lot of things that defenses can do, that he hasn't, really seen yet. I know, people always say that the backup QB is always the favorite guy on the team, and I think I guess how polarizing Justin Fields has been, with the things he's been able to do and some of the things that he hasn't done up until this. I think some people just want to see something different. Is it really down? Is it Justin Fields or is it the coaching? I think this game against the Raiders is going to tell a lot. In that regard. What I expect to see from Tyson Bagent, I expect to see him, try to execute the play to the best of his ability. A lot of people talk about, they saw how he has a quick release and things like that. And I started thinking about it when you can't do the things that other people can do. You have to kind of do things differently. And he's a player. He's not going to be able to extend plays like Justin. He's not going to be able to throw the ball deep like Justin. And he's certainly not going to be able to attack the edge like Justin. So it's going to be a little bit different. The Bears are going to look a lot different, and a lot less dangerous, I would say.
Lakina, your thoughts on Tyson Bagent getting his first start?
I mean, look, you heard you heard his presser yesterday, and he said basically it's a dream come true. And look, look, you like underdog. I mean, a guy from a D2 school, he holds a lot of D2 records and such. But I think for me, yes, he had a great preseason, but the problem was that he was facing guys that were 13 guys and 14 guys who were basically in the same situation he was in, trying to get into, get onto the team and the main roster. He's going to be facing guys like Max Crosby, Bilal Nichols, just that monstrous. I mean, I know Max Crosby kind of hasn't practiced much because I know he's been a little bit under the weather, but he's somewhere licking his chops. Like, okay, especially as the O line's not, the best. We'll talk about that later, I'm sure. But yeah, I mean, look, I'm intrigued to see what this kid does. But the thing is that for years Bears fans have been like, gravitating towards whoever the backup QB is. I mean, we saw with Josh McCown just a few years ago, and the endless names of guys. So, you hope that maybe Bagent can be, more like in the decent to good category, or is he going to be like, where all the other Bears are?
You know what? I'm actually expecting him to do pretty well. Again, let me say this because people watching and people who are watching are going to say what they're going to think I'm crazy, which is fine. But I'm not putting him in Canton. I'm not even putting him in as a pro. I think he's going to do fine. I think he's going to be serviceable, if not more than a serviceable replacement for Justin Fields. My thought is, and here's why I tell this. And anyone who doubts me, good, doubt me and watch on Sunday. The kid's thrown over 2,000 college passes. Okay, you name me another quarterback who's thrown 2,000 passes in his collegiate career. Now this is going to be very, very short, very short. His junior year, 579 passes. Let's break it down. Junior year, 579. His senior year, 572. 500 passes in 11 games, 12 games. It's right around 45 to 50 passes a game. Now, I said it before, and I'll say it again. There aren't going to be any situations that he's not familiar with. None. The talent level is going to be different. That's the issue. Can he manage that talent level? Because he's seen a 3rd and 3, he's seen a 3rd and 5, he's seen a 3rd and 15, he's seen a second and 8. He's seen all those things. He's seen 7, 8 men at the line of scrimmage. He's seen 3 men on the line of scrimmage, 2 men on the line of scrimmage. He's seen everything. He's dealt with all conference players and everything at every level. He's been successful. He has 159 passing touchdowns, the most in the history of the college of the NCAA at any level. I think he's going to be fine. Football is football. The difference is the speed. The difference is the disguises. How quickly can he identify the disguises? Now, this kid is young. He's very confident. And let me tell you something. When you're watching, it's so easy to learn, so easy to develop when you're behind someone. Okay? And as a backup quarterback, you understand you're one play away. You're literally one play away every week from getting in. So he has to be ready. He didn't get a shot until last week. He was ready. He made some mistakes. I think this week with him getting all the reps, him getting comfortable with DJ Moore, with Darnell Mooney, with Cole Kmet, with Robert Tonyan, I think is going to help him settle down and adjust to the speed. Now, he's got the speed down now because he just came in there and had some mishaps. Okay? I think he'll settle down. So so my next question to you is this then. Lakina, what do you expect from Luke Getsy?
I'm not expecting too much different. I mean, look, I haven't seen Bagent run too much, so I don't know if he's got the speed like Justin Fields does.
Very
but
few do.
Yeah,
he's got wheels. He's athletic.
I saw the tapes of him at Shepherd. I mean, they went pretty far in the D2 level, so I've seen it. Yeah, he can run, but again, there's not the same level as Fields. So I think, look, for me, yes, he has the experience. Yes, he has all the passing records, but again, yes, the speed, but let's also remember to the level. Like, he's going to have real professional NFL guys chasing after him. So look, if we see some of the same things that we see from, as he does with Fields, it's going to be a long afternoon. But look, if he could, adapt to it and, maybe, have to disguise some things, maybe, go up against the list. I'm sure they're going to be blitzing a lot. I'm talking about the Raiders defense, and he passes great. But again, Getsy, look, will he adjust a little bit more to Bagent's strengths? He might. But again, let's see it in the full game first.
Joe?
You know what? I'm not too confident on Luke Getsy either way. I think, definitely Luke Getsy is going to do some things a little bit differently, to kind of account for having a rookie quarterback. I think things that he should be doing all along. I definitely think you'll see some more max protect. I think you're going to see a lot of empty. I wouldn't go empty. Yeah, I expect to see some different things. I think, Bagent did call in his press conference to run the same, do the same plays and do the same thing that they would do as Justin. And I do think, he's, as far as to aspect, like you said, he's been through it. He's going to be prepared. But I think, when you're going against the ones, at the NFL level, it's going to be a lot different. And I do think, there's something to account for that speed. You're not going to have as much space and you're not going to have as much time. Him having a quick release, and being able to decipher is going to help him. But I think ultimately, he's going to have to be able to manage this game. I think, we're going to have to see more game management from Tyson Bagent.
He was asked a question about being overwhelmed in his presser today. Let's check it out. Here's what he had to say.
I think my life has been planned out for me ahead of time. I think that everything that has happened and will happen was already set in stone to happen. I think that, coming from where I come from, I've pretty much beat every odd that there was for me. So, I got nothing to lose. I'm just, I'm going to go out there and, fight with these guys to the death and, try to stack up as many wins as I can to get Justin back.
We're going to be safe.
No comment.
So
he got the right attitude.
I like the way he commanded the room. Your thoughts on that, Lakina?
I mean, look, he's excited. I mean, look, he's going to be playing an NFL game. He probably never expected it to happen, especially this soon. I mean, look, what else he's going to say? Hey, look, I'm a nervous wreck. I mean, look, what else is he going to say? I mean, of course he's going to say, hey, when I'm ready. And, probably, on the inside, he's probably going to be a nervous wreck. But, I mean, look, you're going to be playing, probably like your first NFL game at Soldier Field. At some of the like one of the top defenders in the league, like I said, in Max Crosby. I mean, again, what else was he gonna say? I mean, I'm kind of like, oh, okay. I mean, okay, look, well, we'll see how he does on Sunday. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, look, for me, I think, look, I'm not expecting too much from Bagent. So for me, it's like, as long as he, game manages, we've seen that movie before with various, Bears QBs. If he can do that, not make the same mistakes he did last week against Minnesota, hey, great. But I'm not going to say that he should get the keys to like the starting quarterback if he does well, and whenever Justin does come back, whenever that is.
Joe?
I mean, I think a lot of it, we're talking about Tyson Bagent, and I'm just thinking to myself, a lot of it, doesn't even, boil down to him. I think, we see it with Justin. There's still problems. There's going to be problems with the offensive line with people that they've had out. There's been problems with the play calling. And I don't think that's going to change, just because Tyson Bagent is in. And I think, him having to deal with it, he's going to, get a taste of that as well. And I think, people who are expecting things a lot different, Tyson Bagent, Lakina's right. What is he going to say? He's not going to come out there and say, I'm scared to death. He's not going to come out there and say, I'm nervous. I definitely wouldn't. But, he is right about one thing. He has nothing to lose. This is an opportunity of a lifetime, and and sometimes people can rise to the occasion. I think he might have something in him that could get him to that level, but I need to see it first. I need to see it first.
It's what? It's very funny you say that because they asked him today in the presser about that. They said, was the NFL a reality for you, or was it a dream for you? Was it a reality for because he did come from a small school, and a lot of people who go to those small schools, your chances are you're not going to get those opportunities. Those are few and far between. Here's what he said.
And then after that, it was just figuring out how I could outwork everybody that maybe had more things than I did, had better facilities, and all that stuff. So it was just really just trying to get it out the mud, putting a lot of work in the shadow, and just so I'd be ready for this week.
For me, I like that. And I like it combined with what you said, what you mentioned, Joe. He said, I got nothing to lose.
Mm-hmm.
I got nothing to lose. So I'm looking forward to him to coming out and ripping it. When you're successful like that, like I said, football's football. It's just the speed is the only thing you have to adjust for. The scenarios, he doesn't have to adjust. He's seen everything. Now, and as I was talking earlier, the ability for him, I think, to study under Justin, or to study, period, not have to worry about playing, I think helps him. I think it will. Speaking of Justin, all right, your thoughts. Joe, no surgery for Justin at this point. So it looks like they're going to let the swelling go down, let him, and then you can't really rehab it. You can't rehab. So they're going to down. Then it's going to be basically an issue for grip strength, as Coach Eberflus has been saying all along. Your thoughts on this situation? Think Justin's gone 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks?
You know what? I do think it does come down to grip strength, and I think that we've seen how tough and competitive Justin is, and he's going to work himself back in to play as soon as possible. This is an injury that other quarterbacks played with before. Tom Brady, Jared Goff. I think Stafford had a thumb injury at one point. This is something that people have dealt with, and it's usually in the 3-week range when they come back. So I'm expecting to see him within the next 2 to 3 weeks. I think as long as he can hold the ball, hold and secure the ball, and it's not going to affect his ability to throw it. I think we should be back. It's just the best case scenario for Justin, I think. Because, like we've been talking about, people have been clamoring to see, the backup quarterback, and, people are, wondering if it's, time to move on from Justin. So, him getting the opportunity to come back and play later this year and, stack some games together, it's going to be good for Justin. I think ultimately it would be good for the Bears, to see that they can build around Justin, and I think people are so quick to start over. We really haven't ever had a franchise quarterback ever. We just kind of use them and abuse them and get another one. This organization has really never taken the time to build something from the ground up to see how and build those strong foundations. And Justin hasn't really had that. He's on the ground with them. And so I think people need to take that into account as well. These are the growing pains that you have with a very young team that's been ripped down to the studs. And I think a lot of people haven't, been fair in that aspect, to Justin. Last year they lost 14 games. That was by design. That was by design. We talked about it last week, about how many games you said it, how many one-score games that they lost and how the games that he was able to keep them in. And I think that's not something that you cast aside. I think that's something that you build with. I think, the surgery was a setback, but it's probably also a blessing because you can kind of see, from a different perspective. Like you said with Tyson Bagent, when somebody else is taking the reps, you can kind of see things differently and how the game is playing out, and kind of work things out for himself. So, I mean, it could be a blessing for him.
Akina?
Yeah, I mean it's probably like the best news, I guess. Again, if that's the case, I mean we'll see in the next couple of weeks if the swelling goes down, and like Joe said, there have been numerous guys, like he mentioned that have played through this and have played through it for years, and some actually are pretty productive from it. But again, I mean, look, you need to, especially if it's your throwing hand, you need your thumb to be able to grip the ball properly. So if it's still a problem and the swelling hasn't gone down, after 2 weeks, then we may have some issues here. So I think for me, look, for as far as Fields is concerned, look, I'm willing to give him another a few more games to see if he is the guy. I think, look, we've Bears fans have seen this movie before where you have to, okay, the guy stays for a couple years, okay, and look, for a couple of games, yes, Fields has been actually pretty decent. He wasn't very good last week against Minnesota, so before he got hurt. So, I think that, look, I know some people say, hey, let's trade him or whatever. But I think, look, for me, I think Fields is sort of like, look, if he does come back, whether it's next week or in the next two weeks, see what you have. And if he's not their guy, then I guess you do kind of have to sort of, try to trade him to get some for him. I don't know, but it really is going to depend on how he looks when he comes back from this injury.
One of the issues that's going to affect the game tomorrow is the injury report. All right. Unfortunately, Darnell Wright had something happen during the game. He's out. So you're not going to have your starting right tackle. Here's the injury report. Okay. Oh, do I need to? Hold on. I need to get rid of that particular banner. It's at the bottom. Darnell Wright, shoulder, limited, DNP, did not practice. That's huge. That's huge. If you look up, fourth one down, Travis Homer, he practiced full. His hamstring's good. So we'll have at least 2 full running backs. If you look down, Rashawn Johnson still has not cleared concussion protocol, so he didn't practice Wednesday or today. Doug Kramer, center we drafted last year, full participant. So there's a couple of people, we're getting back. Nate Davis, he's out. He didn't practice with the high ankle sprain. Dan Feeney, the center, didn't practice. So we see it. You see Yannick Ngakoue, he practiced. So we have people coming back, but the most important one that I'm worried about is Darnell Wright. No Darnell Wright could make it a long day for Tyson Bagent. Talk to me about, with that, how in God's name, Lakina, does the Bears deal with Max Crosby?
I don't think it can unless you double team him. I mean, I don't, but then again, that might break away, for guys like Bilal Nichols, a former Bear, and some of the other that front seven. So yeah, I mean, look, that's going to be a tough assignment. We've seen in the last few weeks, the couple of games in a row that the Raiders won. He's been one of the main reasons why. So I think for me, if you have no Darnell Wright, look, we're, that O-line was decimated by injuries even before all this other stuff, even before Fields got hurt. Oh, and hey, Armando, by the way, I know you said hi earlier, but I just look. I don't know if, like I said, I don't know if you can. Like I said, let you double team him and try to be quick with the reads and stuff. And I don't know if Baker will be able to do that, but yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be a tall task. Like I said, I'm sure he's probably, especially if Wright doesn't play, he's licking his chops, saying, "Okay, let's go. That rookie is mine." So, I don't know. It's gonna be a tall order.
Joe?
You know what? Darnell Wright is definitely, having him is definitely going to be an issue for the Bears offensive line. And they're going to have some other pieces juggled without that line, without Nate Davis. We're going to have a different center. I hear this talk about moving Tevin Jenkins to the right side and still playing Cody Whitehair. So it's going to be a lot of differences. Lucas Patrick, he can snap the ball. He isn't all good. So there's going to be some issues with that, not just with the right tackle. It's a main point because of Max Crosby, and he's been eating. He's been tearing the league up. With the way he's been able to get pressure on quarterbacks lately. And when we look back to the Minnesota game, Darnell Wright wasn't even playing that well. So this guy who's going to come in and replace him, what is he going to do? It has the possibilities of being really bad. Without Darnell Wright.
Yeah, I think they're gonna have to chip him. They're gonna have to keep a tight end on his side. And you know what? I don't mind if you max protect. I don't. One of the things on our people on the injury report, all right, you saw Mercedes Lewis, but he didn't practice, but it's for rest. So if he can practice, if he's eligible, and he's a veteran, he's 32, 33, so you get your days off. As long as he plays, I think you could leave him because he is a good blocking tight end. You can leave him on the side with Max Crosby to help whatever if it's the right side or the left side, either way. All right, leave him to help double team him because there's certain things when you have players like that, you have to do everything you can to stop them. Don't let them beat you. If Bilal Nichols beats you, okay. If someone else steps up and beats you, okay. But you can't let your superstars have their way. Have a stat game. All right, we don't need to see another Khalil Mack. What did he have? 5 sacks a couple weeks ago. 6 sacks. We don't need that from Crosby. So I think they're going to have to keep Mercedes Lewis in for max protection. One of the things that they have to do is go to the offense. I think they have to, in addition to max protect, they have to run. They have to run the God bless the ball. They have a running back now. Joe, you think Luke Getsy will stay committed to the run game, or do you think he's going to get, especially if Tyson Bagent starts getting in a rhythm, hitting a lot of slants, a lot of curls, some in routes, some quick outs, and he gets in a rhythm, do you think Getsy will stay committed to the run game?
You know what? I think if the best chance for them to win this game is to stay committed to the run and control the ball. I think with a healthy running back, I think you should be able to with that line, get those guys moving forward. The big guys up front love to push. Don't have them be treated always like a pass blocker. Don't get out, guys. Hit those defensive linemen and kind of wear down on them a little bit, and you can kind of take control of the game that way. And you keep those defensive ends on their toes. They just can't come upfield, because they have to be thinking about playing the run as well. If you want to keep Crosby, out of Bajan's face, you're going to have to run and be committed to it. I think the quick game is also going to be very important as well. The quick slants and the quick outs and the hitches and things like that. But I kind of, worry about that, because Getsy has to see it calling the same play over and over and over again. And so I kind of worry about that. So, hopefully, they can stay committed to the run game and, and take control that way.
I mean, look, if you want to keep, Brian Hoyer and the rest of that Josh Jacobs and, Devontae Adams on the field, yeah, you may have to, commit to the run and try to, kind of keep them at bay, keep Crosby and them on their toes. But, I mean, we know Getsy doesn't commit to the run like he should. So, I mean, unless something changes, I hopefully that could be the case. I mean, the guy, look, it's just good grief. I mean, I don't know what else to kind of see that the offense has been, they looked good for a couple of games, and then you saw against Minnesota, they kind of, kind of fell flat. So, for me, I think the run game is probably, if they want to keep themselves in the game and perhaps maybe win it, the run is probably their best bet.
Okay. Well, let's go to the other side of the ball before we wrap it up. Brian Hoyer is starting. Jimmy G is out. A good friend of mine is going to be upset. She was really looking forward to seeing Jimmy G. Fortunately, he's not going to be in Soldier Field. He might be, but he's not playing. Brian Hoyer is going to be started for the Vegas Raiders. Can our defense get home often against Brian Hoyer? Our defense has improved the last couple of weeks. Last week, probably being the best they've played all year. Gave up 12 points. In the NFL, that should be enough to win. Unfortunately, not for our Bears. But do you think the Bears defense can get home often against Hoyer and really ruin his day and really help out Justin Fields? Lakina.
I mean, they can. I mean, look, if they can slow down Josh Jacobs, that's going to be you wonder, he is primed for a big game. So, Jacobs being one of the best, running backs in the league, he hasn't really shown him much, even in the last couple of games that they won. So, yeah, that's going to be a tough task for that front seven. Now, I know Devontae Adams has been complaining a lot lately about not getting the ball as much. So that's going to be a big task for somebody, I think they can. I mean, look, Hoyer's not really, been anything to write home about. I mean, he's a journeyman. He played here for a couple of years. So yeah, I mean, look, could the defense have a shot? I mean, at perhaps once again keeping the Bears in the game? Sure. I mean, look, could they? This is probably going to be one of the best, kind of offensive, stars individually that they'll be facing this year. So for me, if you can, keep Adams at bay and try to slow down Josh Jacobs. I mean, yeah, that look, sure, they may be able to do that, but again, we'll have to wait and see.
Tony? Joe?
Tony. All right. But I'll say that I like how, Eberflus has been aggressive with the blitz lately, and dialing up the pressure to get home. I think, that's something that the defense needed, to kind of get them, in the rhythm and, attacking and, getting those linebackers and safeties downhill. It's been helping them, improve their run defense. The young guys, Pickens and Davis Sr., Javonte Davis, they've been stepping up lately. Billings is solid, against the run. So I think, I have faith in them, in continuing, being able to creating a stout presence against the run. Thing about Brian Hoyer, though, is that he's, Coach Daniels. He's been with that, yeah, but he's been with him a long time. He's been with them in New England, and now he's with him in Las Vegas. So he knows that systems. He knows that offensive system in and out. It's like having a coach in the field. He knows where all the checks are. He knows where all the reads are, and he can execute. If you blitz him, he might be able to get the ball out to the hot read. If you sit back in coverage, he'll be able to find an open spot in the zone. So it's not going to be a walk in the park for the Bears. I think a lot of times when you have these, veteran journeyman, quarterbacks, and you're playing a young defense that they're still trying to find their way, I think they can have some success. With that, Brian Hoyer, like you said, he's not scary or anything, but he does have some capabilities. He started a lot of games in this league. He's won a few. So I think, him versus, Jimmy G, I think, the fact that Hoyer knows the system better than Garoppolo a little bit, I think that it's going to be, and, he's going to make it a point to get the ball to Devontae Adams. So the secondary is going to have to be ready. I think, Hoyer's going to come in and lean on him. So, you got to be ready for that as well.
I think one of the things I think they need to do is make sure they blitz early, get some run blitzes in. All right, get the Raiders in second and long, keep them behind the sticks. Okay, now on second and long, third and long. Okay, now you can kind of shade and double team or shade over to Devontae Adams. Okay, if you want to bring some pressure, I think that's one of the ways you're gonna have to go, because if you give Josh Jacobs 4, 5, 6 yards on first down, the entire playbook's open on second down. All right. So it's and that's the last thing you want to do. That's the last thing any team wants to do is, one, if you're an offense, is get behind the sticks. And two, if you're defense, let the offense get ahead of the sticks. You don't want second and medium to second and short. All right, because now you're opening up to everything in their playbook, and you have no idea. You keep them in second and third and long, second and third, medium to long, you're in a much better spot because you can kind of dictate what it is that they do. So we'll see if they can shut down Josh Jacobs, which is not going to be an easy task, despite the fact that he may not have been having a couple good games. He was the NFL's leading rusher last year. So you don't just forget how to rush the ball. And I think with Brian Hoyer being starting quarterback and not Jimmy G, I think they're going to rely on that run game, shorten the game, let Josh Jacobs kind of just impose his will on the Bears defense. Can they step up? We're going to see. They've improved the last couple of weeks. They're getting better. Coach Eberflus, like you said, you said it, Joe. He's bringing more pressure. He's getting home, and if he's not getting home, he's altering the quarterback. He's moving him off his spot. Or he's making the quarterback uncomfortable. If he can do that, we might have a good shot to win. Our secondary is intact. All right, we got Jalen Johnson. We got Tyreek Stevens. All right, Brisker. Eddie Jackson, though, I shouldn't say intact. Eddie Jackson still having the issue with the foot. So majority of our secondary is intact. So we'll see. Well, let's talk about, let's wrap this thing up, and let's talk about week 7 predictions. Lakina, ladies first.
So I don't know if I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. I hope it's not gonna be a blowout. I think the Bears will keep it close because of their defense. But if Josh Jacobs does get a chance to get those 6, 7, 8 yards, like we know he can do, and look, he is primed for a breakout game. If you remember, the Raiders actually looked better once Hoyer came in after Jimmy G got hurt. So this is going to get very interesting. Now, look, Brisker, he's done a lot of talking. He needs to kind of, try to, slow down Devontae Adams. That's not going to be an easy thing to do either. So if Bajan can manage the ball well, I think the Bears can definitely keep it close. But I don't think they'll be able to win it. So, but I think it will be a close one. I'll say, I guess if we want to do scores too, I'll say 24, like 14 or something like that.
Okay. Raiders, I'm saying, right?
Yes.
Saying?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Lakina gave her score. Lakina, 24-14. Raiders. Okay.
Oh man. So it's on me now?
No, it's on you, Joe.
I guess so.
You know what? I do. I expect. I expect Tyson Bagent to play well. I expect him to play well. I think he's going to be serviceable, and I do think the Bears will come up with a game plan to kind of help manage the game for him. And I do think they'll come up there and they can manage the run. I think the key is though is how the defense performs against Brian Hoyer and Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. And I'm gonna go ahead and roll with the Bears, and I'm gonna do a little bit closer. I'm 23-17.
Really? Okay. 23.
Bears 23-17.
Okay.
One of those touchdowns, one of those scores is gonna be a defensive score.
Oh. Now that's news.
Yeah.
All right, Joe.
Yeah, one of those scores is gonna be a defensive score. Yeah.
Joe, 23-17 Bears. I've been thinking about this long and hard, and I'm like, man, I want to give Tyson Bagent the benefit of the doubt. I want to say this kid can, again, not putting him in Canton, not putting him in Hall of Fame, All Pro, nothing. I think he's going to be more than serviceable. I think he's going to be he's a student of the game. He understands the game. He understands the game plan. He's seen how things work. All right. Okay, here it is. I'm thinking 2017 Bears.
Okay. All right.
I'm a little close. I think it's going to be very close. And here's the thing that I part of the reason if you remember the interception that he was going to DJ Moore, he had DJ Moore. His arm got hit. All right, his arm got adjusted. He got hit a little bit, which is why it fluttered. Because if you look at all his people, like, he didn't get hit. I'm like, no, he got hit. It affected he couldn't follow through. Because if you look at all his other passes were darts. There were no ducks in all the other passes he threw. There are 2 ducks, and they're both hit. Both times his arm was hit. So if he can get to DJ Moore, and you heard him in there saying, hey, earlier in his press conference, I should say, he talked about, getting the ball to DJ Moore is a pretty good plan. I think he's going to kind of look for DJ Moore. So I say 2017 Bears is going to be a close one. It was a little closer than you there, Joe, but 2017 Bears. Call me a homer if you want. I think they you know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen if Tyson Bagent pulls this out. And has a nice game, not great game. God forbid he has a great game, but has a nice game. Sports Talk Radio, Chicago Sports Talk Radio is going to be insane.
Oh God!
We told you.
Mhm.
We told you Tyson Bagent was the best. We told you this. We told you that. People, meatheads are going to give me their crazy opinions. But anyway, guys, Lakina, thank you for joining us tonight. Joe, thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Guys, this has been another edition of the Bears Den War Media in collaboration with Sports Zone Chicago. Guys, we will see you next week, Thursday, same time, same channel. All right, 8:30 Central. And don't forget, check me out, Sean and Maya, in the morning tomorrow, right here on Sports Zone Chicago, 9 to 11 a.m. Central Time. I have Fred Pfeiffer talking Bulls. The Bulls just lost to the T-Wolves. And then I have Herb Howard who covers the Bears for the Bigs. He'll be joining me at 10. Fred Pfeiffer's at 9:30. Herb Howard is at 10 o'clock. And then you can see Lakina tomorrow. She's on at 12:15 to 2:15. She's on Second City Sports, co-hosting with her guide, Sydney Brown. They will take you on another 2-hour adventure talking more Chicago sports. So make sure you tune in to that as well. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Again, we will see you next week. We are out.
Peace.
All right. See y'all.